Hello friends, Pat and Heidi here from Rain Country, and we are going, God is good all the time. And we thought we'd do another video, a part 2 of ways to save from our subscribers.
And a lot of the people that can't come and watch these videos are looking for ways to save, but some of you might be stumbling upon these videos and thinking, boy, some of these are just ridiculous. Whenever you are implementing some of these different practices, you're always trading time for savings, you know. So one person goes through the trouble of hanging up their clothes to dry. It takes time, but you're saving electricity. And you know, some of these different ideas might be extreme to some, but not so much to others. And depending on how much you need to cut back or how much you need to save is to what extreme or how inventive that we get. So Heidi's got several comments here she wants to talk about. Some we might get to, some we might not. But
yeah,
we had
I printed off a lot.
We had to just select just a few of them, but there's several different comments. So whenever you guys get in here and watch these videos, put your comments in here. Share with us what you guys do.
Right. Because saving money is it's an important thing, and we're gonna do a separate video down the road just on what it's good for. I mean, why save money? Why does it matter even if you make a lot of money? So we'll get to that in another video, but some of these points get brought up in these too. So anyway, I'm going to start with this first one. It's a long one, but chock full of ideas. So this is from Millboro Quilter, South Dakota. I get great garden production by covering my entire garden with ground hay that's left over from feeding our cattle during the winter. Keeps the ground moistened and really brings the worms in. When we have a steer butchered, I get all the bones and have them cut into roaster size to make bone broth. I add the peelings from potatoes and carrots I've washed, peeled, and frozen. Also ends of celery and onion ends and peels. I do several huge roasters at a time, then leftovers go to compost, and broth gets canned. When the tractors, semis, grain trucks, pickups, cars, cutters, combines get oil changes, I save all the used oil and use it to oil chains on hay sled movers, to grease chains on other equipment, use an oil burner to heat shop. I use old stained and torn t-shirts to make rugs and rags for the men to check oil dip sticks and clean parts. We do that with a lot of old t-shirts and stuff.
That's why I'm nodding my head.
Yep, they become shop rags and all different kinds of rags.
Sure, she's digesting a lot of stuff that we do, and that's just great. Yep.
I use old jean legs to make heavy-duty quilts. Yep, got a good number of those, and purses that I use the jeans for as well. I use feed bags to make grocery bags with handles. They work great to hold blue jean quilts to gift to a neighbor, a friend, or a stranger in need. I use the pages from old phone books to sew my fabric scraps to make a scrappy quilt blocks. When I have enough, I make a pretty quilt from the pages. I use a tight stitch, and after I square up the pages, I tear off the paper and use that to start fires. When carrots and other produce is really a good buy in town, I buy a lot of it or all of it, and I can it because lots of things I cannot keep the deer out of, and for the time, effort, and water, seeds, etc., it's cheaper, faster on my shelf. Right, that's kind of how it is for carrots. It's not because of deer, at least at our place, but anyway, I do find it's cheaper to go to Costco and buy a huge bag of the Costco carrots and the organic carrots, and then you can can those up, dehydrate those up, and then you've got them.
Yeah, face it, guys. If you don't have the time, it's a good idea just to shop sales and do just like what she did. It's a great idea. There's nothing wrong with that.
Right. I pay all bills possible by phone, so I save a stamp and a check, or you can use like a bill pay or something online. That's another way, and we do something similar. I save money by staying home and going to church on the radio. Save 60 miles of driving, 1 hour of time, and 2 to 3 gallons of gas depending on what I drive to town to go to church. I make mayo, ketchup, pickles, bread, pudding, pies, cakes, all meals, spice blends, and bar soap. I make cards, harvest all kinds of wild edibles from the prairie, my backyard. All clothes are dried on line inside or outdoors, whichever works on that day. All plants are watered by rain or dew drippings from the building's roofs. I make all my flower bouquets from prairie plants, milkweeds, wild roses, cattails, grapevines. I make jellies from buffalo berries, chalk cherries, ground cherries, wild plums, wild grapes, harvest honey from the prairie bees, swim in the river to cool down, and harvest river catfish after I get my fishing license. Use the poo out of the trailers to fertilize the garden, either horse or beef poo. I use scraps of fabric for wind strings to tell me wind direction and speed at a glance. Collect and harvest black walnuts for cookies and start more trees. I use pruned branches from apple trees to make jars of floral blooms to enjoy beauty and attract bees. I trim branches from walnut trees to make walking sticks. They sell good. Saves me from buying a cane. So lots of great stuff in there. And I can't honestly say we do all of this stuff because, well, we don't have combines and all that kind of stuff. But there's most of what this person does, we do quite a bit ourselves. And so we could really relate to this.
Oh, yeah, everything's situational. But even those ideas right there will cause you to think, well, I can't do that, but I can do this.
Right.
And it will kind of spur your memory or your mind into thinking of other things that you can do with other people's ideas. So this is great.
Yep. Okay, moving on to the next comment. This one's a little bit shorter. Talking about someone on a strict low income. I am one of those too, and I find that in the summer, food is very easy to come by even if you don't grow a garden. There are so many with an overabundance of fruit on their trees which goes to waste. Much of the time, those people will let you come and pick it and will be glad you did because they don't have the mess of the fruit under the trees. Sometimes people I know will ask us to come get it. It's then easy to dry. Drying costs less than canning or freezing and takes up less room, especially if you can run it on solar power. That's what I fight against.
You can also make a solar dryer.
Yeah, or use a like a sun oven for dehydrating. That's what I fight against, is not having the room for storage I would like and used to have. Under the bed storage works very well. I put small easy boxes under it and label them as to what's in it. Then all I have to do is pull out each box as needed. And here's another real short one, and you know, this was more just about a frugal life in general. And in the past, life circumstances have forced me to see how I could fare without electricity or water. At the time it felt overwhelming, but I was very surprised how well me and my children adapted. Once we decided this did not have to be a horrible experience, we fell into a new norm. It taught me so much about our overconsumption and has changed how I look at my future.
Yeah, practice
really
now. In time of plenty, practice now. Think about these things now before you have to think about them. And your life will be a little bit easier in that transition when you actually are faced with that decision to have to, you know, do without. So
it's just, and frugality and prepping, as you'll see by a lot of these comments, go hand in hand. So it's just like, you know, if you're a prepper and you're trying to be prepared for a power outage, for example, you know, practice going without power every now and then to see where your weak points are so that you can better be prepared for when that happens. Or even just know, okay, so what? We don't have power. We can survive, and realize it doesn't have to be this huge major thing. So moving on. Love these videos. Since watching them all recently, we have made some necessary changes too. For example, every week, this is Tamitha Aviles. And I don't know if I said the last one was Jacqueline Richmond. Sorry, I forgot to read names. I'm going right into it. So anyway, for example, every week when grocery shopping, I pick up an extra item or two to stock up on. Toilet paper, water, rice, flour, canning jars. We started with nothing extra in our pantry, but since making these little changes, we have so much more than what we started off with. Making food from scratch has helped out tremendously too. Not only food, but homemade soap, shampoo, deodorant, toothpaste. Thanks to all Mrs. Heidi's informative videos.
Ding!
I am on a journey learning to can my own goods and grow a garden. We have a family of 5 on a limited income, so if we can do it, anyone can do it. just some encouragement to anyone out there thinking it's impossible or on a limited income. So yeah, I mean, really good points. It's not that she's necessarily talking about, you know, specific ways. Well, she does mention specific ways of saving, but this one in particular, you can see how that plays right hand in hand in prepping. So she's buying the stuff on sale, she's putting it away, she's got it for when times are really hard, but she's also being frugal because she's saving that money by buying in bulk. And then, you know, if a hard time hits, you know, she's set. So it's prepping, frugality, hand in hand.
Right.
So, yeah. Okay, the next one is from Kim Griffin. When we know the weather is shifting from cold to warm, we take old cake pans and line the freezer with them and fill them 3/4 of the way full to make blocks for our ice chest. And when we go to the park, we will take one block on the bottom of the ice chest and one on the top, or we will place one on the bottom and one on the top of the stuff in the chest, but make sure the size pan will fit the bottom of your ice chest. LOL. So talking a really big pan, make sure, yeah. This works great for the days you know you will be out in the heat for a long time. Oh yeah, we take them out of the pan when they are solid and put them in an ice bag to store till ready to use. So that was a
That's
that was a neat
fantastic
idea.
idea. That goes. Actually, that's a better idea than the whole milk jug thing, because they actually take up less room. You can fit more in your ice chest if you place a block of ice down there on the bottom, a block of ice on top of your foodstuffs.
And
then
it
actually
spreads
it's more efficient way to do it, and I think it actually works better.
Yeah, so that was
but
pretty
milk
cool.
jugs are everybody's got them.
Juice
And
bottles.
they're fairly readily easy to access. The other thing is, you know, the reason why we like milk jugs is because we don't have as much room maybe in our freezer to keep a level pie pan, but that's just a fantastic idea. Yeah.
Okay, so it's got a couple more, so let's get through these. So Jackie's Gma M. Aha! I have an off-the-wall savings idea for you that I would imagine no one has mentioned. Towels. Why use bigger when smaller will do? I use washcloths for hand and face towels and often use dishwash cloths for small drying jobs. And yeah, I use bath towels for the whole body, but not the huge ones. This saves money when buying, plus saves washer space and wear and tear on the washer. Another thing I've done, bath and kitchen rugs. I've purchased big, thick beach towels, around $11 at Costco, and cut them into thirds or fourths, depending on the size of the towel, then stitch the edges that would fray and use them on kitchen and bathroom floors. They're easy on the washer, wash up beautifully, and are a cost savings. Plus, they make a quick spill wipe up easy to do with my foot. I strongly dislike the slip-free rugs, which are the only type you can buy in the store. They stain the floor and are hard to throw in the washer. Besides the fact that the back disintegrates in a couple of years, right?
Been there, done that.
Yeah. Keep your videos coming, Heidi and Patrick. They usually make our day. Thank you. So, and then one more from Madeline Lawrence. Put a plastic tub in all your sinks and use the water for plants or toilet flushing. Make soup on shopping day to use up any leftover veggies. Add onion, some stock, and a cup of red lentils. Delicious. Don't go shopping. Just period. Don't go shopping.
That saves you lots of money right there.
Use screens less, meaning like your phones, your iPads, whatever, to save needing to charge them, especially if many family members are recharging multiple screens. Upcycle. I'm about to make slippers out of a wool jumper that shrunk and could not be revived. Make it last a bit longer. My Ugg boots are held together with gaffer tape. The fleece inside is still soft and warm. Save seeds. Walk, don't drive. If you save money by buying something at a discount or by simply not buying it at all, actually take the money saved and bank it. Don't spend it on something else. Otherwise, you haven't really saved any money at all. Thanks for the encouragement, Madeline. So, yeah, and you know, in case you haven't noticed, we're sitting here down by the creek at our property that we purchased with money that we saved by being frugal for all these years. So like the idea about a lot of people know about hanging your clothes to dry. Well, it was over 20 years ago that I started hanging the clothes year round because Patrick put in a couple of clotheslines in front of our wood stove. And at that time, I did the math figuring out how much savings, because I went right from 1 month using all the dryer completely to the next not using a dryer at all, and then compared the two bills, and that was over 20 years ago, and I was saving $50 a month. And that was then, and the cost of electricity has gone up since, of course. Several times it's gone up.
So that's what, $60 or $600 a year?
So, I mean, that's significant savings. So you take that money, like she said here, you know, when you save the money on something, don't turn around and just spend it on something else. Save it. That way you can have the money to invest in something like we did right here.
Right.
So, but that I was going to talk about in another video, but I can still talk about it then too. So we'll go into more detail then.
Well, cutting your own hair, there's a whole bunch of different things you can do.
I've been cutting everybody's hair for years.
Yeah, you did the figures on that, and
oh, I don't remember. I came up with, because I've been cutting hair since I met him. I never had any lessons. I just started, you know, doing my own hair trims, and then started cutting his hair, and then when we had our kids, started cutting their hair, and then there was several years back I did some figuring, and I came up with thousands of dollars that I had saved. It was like, wow, that's a lot of money I saved all those years, and I was figuring really low, cheap haircuts.
And when I go to the barber, I should get half price because I only got half my head to cut. But no, they charge me full price.
But yeah, I think what I did those figures, I was figuring like just $10 a haircut, you know, and I'm pretty sure they're more than that now. So
yeah, hard telling.
Yeah. Anyway,
we haven't been to the barber or the beautician.
Well, he hasn't been to the barber since before he met me.
Right.
And that was over 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's it. This has probably already been long enough. And keep the good comments coming, the good ideas, because even if we don't read them in the videos, other people will come in and read them. And we're hoping that by doing this, it'll encourage people to read the comments, not just on this video, but go back to the last video I'll link up here that we did on the ways to save from our subscribers. And also don't forget to check out the whole playlist on 5 ways to save. I have several different categories of 5 ways to save, and just some ideas and things that we do that saves money, and there's a lot of good comments under each one of those too. So if you have the time, it's a good place to learn ways to save money. So
Saving 101.
There we go. Okay.
All right. Well, thanks for stopping by.
And thanks for watching.
Take care.
And God bless.